On the evening of December 24, 2024, at a bar in Miami, Florida, police received a call about a fight between a couple. Upon arrival, officers witnessed a woman aggressively approaching the man she was with. The situation quickly escalated as both sides provided conflicting statements, and the atmosphere in the bar became increasingly chaotic. What happened next was not just a confrontation on Christmas Eve, but also the revealing of underlying issues in their relationship, leading the situation to take a serious legal turn. Ah, the smart guy. Yes, you're looking at an expert in creating chaos without facing any consequences. The man in this story appeared, sat down with the police officers, and in a clever attempt, he began to tell the story everyone already knew. She didn't mean to do this. She was just a little drunk, really just a little bit too drunk. Honestly, I didn't want her to get into trouble, it's her birthday. His story began like a comedic play, with the protagonist constantly downplaying everything to a ridiculous degree. She was upset because it's her birthday, and I'm just a friend cheering her up, but not in this way, he said, but his explanations only made things more confusing. A man, legally married, trying to convince the police that his wife didn't know about his affair. The image of a perfect husband was beyond salvageable as he continued to explain that this girl, the not wanting to make a scene girlfriend, simply lost control because of one thing: she drank too much. Really, anyone would have to laugh at his absurd optimism. Like an actor on stage, he kept trying to downplay the seriousness of the situation, attempting to convince the officers that this was just an accident caused by a little too much alcohol. He refused to give details about the injuries on his body, saying it was just a small cut. Surely anyone who saw him at that moment would think, so you're saying the blood on your head and hands is just a small scratch? It must be one mighty scratch then. Then, as he tried to calm the situation down, a small but huge question was raised. Do you know your wife might not be happy when she hears about this? This question had clearly been considered for a while, and it revealed a painful truth. This relationship was not just a simple accident but a storm heading their way. So, how would he deal with his wife when this story comes to light? Simple, he could answer like this: she can hear about everything, but I just don't want her to get into trouble. Yes, we can't deny that there's a little drama in this story. A man living in a world of delusion, believing he could escape everything just by saying, it's a misunderstanding, and she drank too much. But we all know that no life is as easy as that. Especially when the blood on your hands and the injuries on your head are clear evidence that something is wrong. And so, he continued to say things that sounded reasonable but would never be convincing enough for the police. Honestly, no matter the reason, this was not an incident that could be healed with words. So, he was likely just trying to keep calm, hoping he would escape this trouble, though, given all the evidence on him, that possibility seemed pretty slim. The first part of this story isn't about a man trying to protect his drunk girlfriend, but about a husband trying to convince everyone, including himself, that he wasn't responsible for any of this. His naivety, or more accurately, his absolute optimism, might make you laugh. Or, if you're the wife watching, you might want to pack your bags and leave immediately. So, if you're looking for a lesson from this story, remember that she's just drunk doesn't always save the situation. Because no matter what, when wounds appear on your head and hands, something bigger is definitely going on. Now let's move on to the part with the girl. Surely everything began when she started talking to the police, making everyone within earshot wonder, could this get any messier? And in the midst of the tension, she began to reveal everything, with a bit of pain, confusion, and an emotional performance. I know he has a wife, I know, she said, as if asserting something very simple. After all, she couldn't forget that she was in love with a married man. From here, her story turned into a romance novel, except not in a sweet way, but in a tragicomedy style. She admitted that she had loved this guy for a year, and no one could help but feel a bit of sympathy. He's been lying to me the whole time, and now it's my birthday. I just want to leave. This was probably the quintessential disappointing birthday statement that any of us could relate to. But before she could finish her rant, the story took a bizarre and humorous twist, The girl had been bitten, and she said the wounds on her body were not small. "Do you see the bite on my arm?" she asked, posing a question that no one really wanted to answer. Can you imagine that? Biting on a birthday. What a way to spice up the holiday atmosphere. But the story didn't end there. The girl, in a panic but still rational, began to pour out her heart. "He's always lying to me, always saying it's a misunderstanding or she was just a little drunk, but it's really not like that, do you know? He's been cheating on me and now he's saying I bit him." Truly, this girl's talent was turning everything into a soap opera, where each character had their own reasons for their actions. She began to get more and more upset, unable to accept the absurdity of the man she had loved for a year, but it was hard to deny that she had become part of this chaotic situation, one that could only come from a perfect disaster birthday night. In a moment, when she described her wounds, the scary bites on her arm, I couldn't help but think of the birthday night we all expect, but then suddenly turning into a messy party when the girl discovered the truth. It was the moment when she realized her birthday wasn't like any other party, and it could even turn into a novel about betrayal and feelings of being cheated on. Yet, while she was complaining about the bite, I couldn't help but laugh at the crucial detail she overlooked. Not all wounds were from bites. Part of it might have been her practicing a bit of self-defense, or more precisely, a strong push. Then, her final words couldn't help but draw attention. "I just want to leave. I don't want to be here anymore." And this was the moment that would make people notice the humor. A 26-year-old girl trying to escape a huge argument while the man she loved stood there, still trying to justify his mistakes. Did he ever think he would keep everything calm, even in a situation where even the main character of a comedy movie would laugh at the absurdity of the story? When the police interviewed her, she cleverly made excuses that were as interesting as they were, as if this reason, that reason, were just trivial details in a long, ironic story. But in the end, she concluded everything with a very birthday decision. "I want to go out, and I don't want to deal with this anymore." Of course, she could request a flight back home and forget the whole mess. But the problem was, she didn't know that the police had decided to make this party memorable in a way no one expected. Surely, no one could remain calm when this girl was both the one who had been hurt and the one who felt betrayed and lied to. But, strangely, this story played out in a way that you couldn't help but laugh. A disastrous birthday, an argument where no one knew who was right or wrong, and a girl trying to survive through all that confusion. Life really does have its surprises, especially when you can't predict what will happen next. Now we come to the part that no one can miss, the witness statements. The part where you get to hear amazing stories from those who just happened to witness the events but made everything even better. One of the first witnesses recalled that, while he was quietly enjoying his meal, or maybe waiting to order, he suddenly found himself in the middle of an action movie. "I saw her chase him like a cheetah, constantly biting him and pulling him back when he tried to get away," he recalled with an astonished tone, as if he couldn't believe he had just witnessed such a scene at the bar. Yes, you heard that right, biting. I don't know how to feel when hearing that a girl is turning her birthday into a Hollywood-style attack. Really, who would have thought that biting would be the key skill this girl had to develop in this situation? With a strange calmness, this witness continued to describe, "He tried to leave, but she kept pulling him back, like she couldn't let him get away. Oh, and don't forget, this was a birthday attack." Honestly, if there were an award for this performance, this girl would definitely win the gold medal with her messy biting strategy. I must admit, she really is an artist in turning anger into a dramatic performance. Just when you think it couldn't get worse, another witness continues to complicate everything. Clearly, she was the aggressor, though he may have pushed her away to defend himself, this person stated confidently, as though talking about a mixed martial arts match. I don't know if he's too into sports, or if in his eyes, pushing a woman away in this situation looked like a perfect basketball move. In fact, the interesting point here is the argument between these witnesses. The second witness does not hide their opinion. She is the one who started everything. He only pushed her away to defend himself. So, in this tense moment, we can clearly see that the man was just trying to avoid a painful evening of being bitten and pulled around like a puppet. This defense strategy might remind us of rare scenarios in action films, if not for that strange bite. While everything is getting chaotic, we can't help but wonder, could things get any more complicated? The first witness insists that the girl is the aggressor, but the second witness believes the man was only defending himself. In fact, this is a situation that can only be called a battle of words between the witnesses. If you imagine this scene as a street fight, it would definitely be the type of who's right and who's wrong scenario you'd find in a dramatic action movie. While the man is simply trying to escape a fight no one wants, the woman labels the bite as part of her birthday, as if she wants to make things interesting, not in the way anyone would expect. Perhaps this is a life-or-death battle between the two, but from the witness's perspective, everything is getting more and more ridiculous. Now, imagine sitting in a cafe, sipping on a watermelon juice, and suddenly seeing the police enter, continuing their investigation. A tense atmosphere, full of suspicion, and of course, the bizarre testimonies will create a perfect picture of this chaos. And you, as an outsider, just want to jump in and say, "Don't worry, I'll solve this with a mic and some popcorn." The investigation proceeds with the typical diligence of the police. Questions, answers, then more questions. But one thing cannot be denied. This conversation looks nothing like a scripted comedy. Starting with the man, he is very serious, claiming that the woman is the aggressor, but somewhat hesitant, as if trying to justify pushing her away. Essentially, he's trying to wash his hands clean. "I don't want her to get into serious trouble," he says, looking as if he's trying to say, "She bit me, but, well, don't let her go to jail for a fun birthday." A small act of kindness, or simply fear that his wife will find out. Maybe both. One cannot ignore the clear contradiction between the man's words and actions. He keeps saying he wants to avoid trouble for her, but then insists that she is the one who attacked. How strange, wanting to protect someone from serious trouble, but claiming they are the cause of it all. So the question arises, is he doing his job as a detective or just trying to escape this situation without getting caught? On the other side, the girl continues to repeat an unchanged script. "He pushed me first, and that's why I had to respond." Yes, everyone, in this world, everything has a reason, and her reason sounds very reasonable. He pushed her first, and she had to defend herself in her own special way. Now, if I were an action movie actor, I wouldn't hesitate to create a scene where she resists against a pusher at lightning speed. "He pushed me first," she says, her eyes filled with indignation, as if the truth is that she didn't make any mistake. It's almost as though she's the victim of a big conspiracy in this movie. We all know that in any argument, pushing is a decisive factor. Anyway, she insists that it was the man who started the fight, and she only acted in self-defense. If you think about this like a daily life film, this is where the girl delivers the final blow. "He pushed me first." Yes, who wouldn't want to clarify such a situation with a decisive accusation? So everything returns to square one. Once again, we hear two conflicting testimonies, each side claiming to be the victim, and we can only stand by and watch, unable to do anything but talk. The police continue their work, quietly but surely, doing everything they can to figure out who started the storm. But if this were a TV drama, this is the moment where the audience would be sitting on the edge of their seats, waiting for the reveal. However, everything gets more complicated with testimonies that might make you reconsider every detail of the case. So, we end this section in bewilderment. The police continue their investigation, and all the testimonies are not helping us solve the problem. Is she truly the victim of an unexpected push, or did he face an attack from her with a strange biting tactic? What happened first? Who's right and who's wrong? If there were an award for this drama, the question, "Who's the aggressor?" would never get answered. But one thing is clear, the police will still have to work harder to uncover the truth, and hope that the girl's birthday won't turn into a comedic story in this film. Now, we're at the thrilling part of the story, where things not only heat up but are ready to explode. The girl, like a character in a horror bloody birthday film, begins to show extreme anxiety, perhaps realizing that her birthday plan is not celebration but a night with the police. The increasing anxiety, the fear of being arrested, are emotions that are very timely to make anyone pay attention. If she's trying to play the lead role in this film, she's certainly succeeded in acting at just the right moment. The girl says she's worried about being arrested, and part of us can't help but think, is this a subtle defense plan, or just part of a hasty reaction when she realized her birthday had transformed? It's quite an interesting moment when she starts panicking to the point that she can't calm down, as if everything had gone too far to turn back. She begins to display real panic, as if she can't believe her celebration plan has now turned into leaving the bar in a police car. Her words, tears, and fearful gestures, as if she's preparing to face an unpredictable legal battle. Why me? This question keeps repeating in her mind. And perhaps if she could add, I just wanted a cake and some birthday gifts, the ironic atmosphere would only thicken. She never imagined that her birthday gift club would be replaced by being greeted in a police car. Whether she cries, pleads, or does whatever she can to change the outcome, the police remain unmoved. Despite the girl's pleas, they cannot ignore Florida law, where one of the non-negotiable rules is domestic violence. Just a scratch, whether big or small, and it's over. That's the law. If you think they'll listen and let her go, you're completely wrong. The police here are not friends saying, "Don't worry, you can go home." On the contrary, they are doing their job professionally, and extremely tough. No matter who you are, how much you cry or beg, we must follow the law. Thus, this story is not just about an unhappy birthday, but also about an unavoidable truth: the cost of breaking the law, especially in the context of domestic violence. The girl certainly never imagined that her birthday would end with sitting in a police car instead of receiving a special gift. She surely wants to shout, "I just wanted a cake, not these handcuffs." But it's too late. The law is the law, and the police car is unavoidable. So the girl, instead of receiving joy on her special day, must now sit in the police car, where everything around her is unfamiliar and full of tension. Her birthday sunset has now become a dark night in the police car, a transformation that couldn't be worse. If she could, she would surely want to turn back time and start over, not by asking for a cake, but by asking for a peaceful life without facing the law's grip. Finally, this story is not just about an unfortunate birthday, but also a reminder of the consequences of thoughtless actions. Whether crying or begging for mercy, the law always stands firm and never sways. And the girl, instead of walking out with a cake and a happy smile, now faces a harsh truth, that domestic violence has no place for excuses. This birthday is no longer a joyful moment, but a valuable lesson about responsibility and actions. So, how will she celebrate her birthday in the days to come? Certainly not sweetly, but perhaps with an unforgettable legal shock. And so ends the girl's birthday, not with cake, candles, and well-wishes, but with a scene booked into jail, unprepared. If this were a movie, it would surely air under the title Sweet Birthday, Bitter Ending. The girl, instead of receiving strange gifts from friends or a partner, receives the most surprising gift of all, a pair of handcuffs and a ride to jail. No one could have ever imagined that a birthday would turn into such a hard journey. Booked into jail, then waiting for the judge. The girl is surely wondering if she made a terrible mistake, like buying the wrong gift for her boyfriend or throwing an overly extravagant party. As she's led into the jail cell, surely her emotions are far from happy or excited. This is a journey to a place no one wants to go, not to explore a new city, but to meet new friends you never wanted to get to know: prisoners, security guards, and cold walls. Wait for the judge tomorrow morning. This question surely makes her feel like she's starring in a legal drama she never prepared for. No more parties or joy, just confusion and worry about the uncertain future. Looking at her, we can't help but imagine the swirling thoughts in her head. What sentence will she face? Will this birthday become the beginning of a dark series of days in her life? The girl can't believe that, from a night full of laughter and joy, it has now turned into a journey to a place no one wants to go: jail. And what makes everything more tragic is that she still doesn't fully realize the severity of the situation, trying to understand how it will all end. What did I do wrong? This is surely the question echoing in her mind. A woman facing an uncertain future, completely unable to predict that a birthday party could turn into a legal challenge like this. She can't believe that she, who simply wanted to celebrate her birthday, is now facing a sentence that could change her life. She wants to explain that it's just a misunderstanding, but right now, none of her excuses will have any effect on the police and lawyers. Now she must wait, not in a party or cheerful meal, but in a quiet cell, with constant thoughts about the future and the upcoming events. Will she one day look back and laugh about this, or will this be a valuable lesson she'll never forget? Only time will tell. But at this moment, the only answer she can be sure of is, this birthday, she won't forget, whether she wants to or not. Thus, the end of this violent birthday story serves as a valuable lesson for anyone who loves partying and fun, forgetting that life is sometimes a game where the rules can change at any moment. The girl will surely reflect on her actions and the poor decisions she made in the past. Will she wake up and learn this lesson, or will she continue making mistakes? Certainly, from now on, she will be very careful when organizing a birthday, and maybe next time, she'll just need a cake, not a pair of handcuffs. Finally, the girl's story in the video is not just a comedic situation, but also a warning about the unforeseen consequences of actions taken in moments of loss of control. A birthday, which seemed like a joyful occasion, becomes a turning point in life, forcing people to face the painful truth of the mistakes they might make. This story reminds us that, whether in moments of joy or complexity, every decision can lead to unexpected outcomes. The lesson from the story is, never let emotions and loss of control lead your actions, especially when sensitive factors like drunkenness or relationship conflicts are involved. It's essential to remain clear-headed and think carefully before making decisions, and always remember that a moment of anger or a thoughtless action can lead to consequences you never want to face. Always keep yourself in check, because in life, events can change in the blink of an eye.